Hello and welcome to the session. In the last session, we explored about the linear equation in two variables, how we can write into the standard form, what is slope-intercept form, how we can find x and y intercept, and how we can find the slope using the two-point form. So today, based on that, we are going to cover a few questions from paper 0580 of Maths series, question paper like 42 code. So question number, as you can see on my screen, the question number is 6, and in this question we will discuss what we can do it when such kind of question will get. So first thing is, like in this question, if you see, the A is a point which is 0, 4. So this is 0, 4, and B is the point which is 8, 0. So if you see, like if a line which is crossing the x-axis, and that time we can say the y is 0, we can say it is a x-intercept. So this point B is nothing but the x-intercept, and the point A is nothing but the y-intercept. Okay, so that we already covered in the previous session. Now the line L1 is parallel to the x-axis. This line is parallel to the x-axis. Any line which is parallel to x-axis okay, so gradient or the slope of that line is always 0. Okay, so if a line which is a parallel to x-axis, in that scenario we can say the gradient of that particular line is always 0. Okay, now L2 is the line which is passing through A, P, that means A and B. Now they are asking in the question number, first write down the equation of L1. So L1 is a line which is parallel to the x-axis. Now we know if a line is parallel to x-axis, then their slope will be 0. So we can write here y is equals to mx plus c. This form is known as slope-intercept form, where m represents the slope and c represents the y-intercept. In this scenario, m is 0, so we are going to put here m is 0 into x plus c. Now c is what? Y-intercept. We know L1 is passing through A, and A is the point which is crossing on the line on the axis y. That means A is nothing but the y-intercept. The value of A, if you see, this value is 4, the value of y is 4. So we are going to put value here, 4 is equals to 0 into x is 0 plus c, and c is equals to 4. So now we have value of m, we have value of c. Now we can write down the equation y is equals to m into x, which is 0 plus c is 4. So equation of line is equals to y is equals to 4. This is our first question. So what we did, we just applied a logic where if a line is parallel to x-axis, then the gradient or the slope will be 0. Now we know if a line is passing through the y-axis, that is known as the gradient, that is known as the y-intercept. Now we have substituted the value of y-intercept, if you see here, and slope from the question, and then we got the value. Okay, now moving to the next part of the question. So next part of the question is, find the equation L in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So again we have to use slope intercept form, but in this case we have point A and B is given. Okay, so first thing, like whenever we are going to find out the slope intercept form, if a line is in the form of slope intercept form, first we have to identify what is the slope. So slope in this case, how we can find, we know if there is a 2-point form, if x1 y1 is 1 point and x2 y2 is another point, then in that scenario gradient we can write here y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So consider like this is like my x2 y2, and this is my x1 y1. Okay, or we can write here as well, a point and this is what point B. So I am going to write x2 y2 and this is x1 y1. Now we have point. Now what we can do, we can find out the value of gradient. So y2 is 0, 0 minus 4 upon 8 minus 0, so that will be minus 4 upon 8. 0 minus 4 is minus 4. I can cancel. 4 into 2 is 8. So gradient now we have minus 1 comma 2. Okay, now if you see, this line is crossing through point A, and A is nothing but the y-intercept. And what is the value of y-intercept? 4. So now we have both the value, gradient as well as C. So what we can do, if it is crossing through this one, right, so we can use this value, right, or not. Let's see, let's find out whether we can utilize or not. So this is one way. So what we can do, you can directly put it, or if you want you can put any of the value. Okay, so y is equals to m is nothing but half x plus c. We know directly we can write here 4. If you are not sure, and if you wanted to use any of the point, either of the point like x1 comma y1, x1 in this case is 0, y is 4, right? So you can just simply substitute in the given equation. Y is equals to half x plus c. C, if you are not sure, what you have to do here, x is 0, y is 4, put it here. Y is 4, x is 0, 0 into minus half is 0 plus c. So c is equals to 4. So either way it is correct. If you want it directly, you can say, okay, it is crossing a point line. This line is crossing a point A, which is on y-axis. That time the x will be 0. That means this is y-intercept. We can directly substitute the value. Or if you want, then you can put the point in the given equation, or substitute the point in the given equation and then find the value. So either way, this answer will be correct. Okay. Now moving to the third point. Okay, third question. C is the point which is 2 comma 3. The line L3 passes through C and is perpendicular to L2. Now we have to identify the equation of L3. Okay, it is already given. We have to identify whether it is 2x minus 1 we are getting or not. So C is one point which is passing, which is 2 comma 3. Okay, and this L3 is passing through C and is perpendicular to L2. So if two lines are perpendicular like this, if the first line have slope or the gradient m1, another line have gradient m2. If both the lines are perpendicular, then if two lines are parallel, then their gradient will be equal. If two lines are perpendicular, then the product of their gradient will be minus 1. Okay, so we know L2. In the previous question we already identified L2, gradient of L2 is minus half. We can simply substitute here minus half into m2 is equals to minus 1. m2 is equals to minus 2 into minus 1 is 2. Okay, or simply we can write whatever the gradient of the line of like m2. If I know the gradient of the first line, then the gradient of the second line which is perpendicular to the first line is always reciprocal into minus 1. So minus half, if I take the reciprocal of this one, that will be minus 2 into minus 1 will be plus 2. So this is our gradient. Now we know the equation of line in the slope intercept form will be y is equals to mx plus c. We already identified the value of m, which is 2 in this case. Now line is passing through 2 comma 3. This is x, this is y. Since this line is passing through this point, that means this value will satisfy the equation. So we have to substitute the value of x and y in the given equation. Y is 3 in this case. I am going to write 3 is equals to 2 into x, which is 2, plus c. So 2 into 2 is 4. 3 minus 4. If I bring this, 2 into 2 is 4, plus 4 if I bring on the other side, it will be minus 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Value of c we have now minus 1. So our final answer for this question will be y is equals to 2x plus c. C is minus 1, so plus into, if I write in a bracket like I can write in this form, plus into minus is like minus, so plus minus minus, so 2x minus 1. So if you see, this is coming like this. So in this question what we did, we applied the logic of gradient. If the two lines are perpendicular, then the product of their gradient is always minus 1. From there we identify the gradient of third line, then we substituted in a slope intercept form, and there was a point given. We substituted the value of C in the given equation because this line is passing through C. After that, once we substituted all the point, then we got the value of y-intercept. Then we substitute back in order to get the final equation. Okay. Now moving to question number second part of this one, which is for 5 marks. L3 crosses the x-axis at D. Find the length of CD. Now L3 is a line which we have already, we have this line which is passing through. So moving to question number 3, where L3 crosses the x-axis at D. Find the length of CD. Okay, so if you see the previous question, we had L3 is a line which is crossing x-axis. Any line, whenever if it cross the x-axis, in that scenario we know this is a x-intercept and the value of y will be 0. So I'm just going to draw this one. Suppose this is one example. Suppose this is D. If it is crossing at this point D, then x will be this, but y will be always 0. So in this scenario, our L3 line is 2x minus 1, y is equals to 2x minus 1. We will substitute the value of y is equals to 0. 2x minus 1 will bring this x over 1 over here. 1 is equals to 2x. X is equals to half. So we got the D coordinate, which is half comma 0. Now question is, find the length of CD. So C we already know it was given 2 comma 3, and D just now we calculated, which is half comma 0. Now they are asking us to identify or find the length of CD if a point is A, suppose consider x1 comma y1 is the coordinate, and B is any point which is x2 comma y2. And if they are asking us to identify or find the length of AB, then in that scenario we can write here x2 minus x1 whole square, y2 minus y1 whole square. So if we have both the coordinate, then we can identify the length of any line. So in this scenario, CD is equals to, I am going to write here x2. I consider this is x2, this is y2, this is x1, and this is y1. So half minus 2, my bad. So half minus 2 and 0 minus 3. Okay, so half minus 2, if I try to solve here, half minus 2, I will take the LCM, 2 will come, so 2 into 2 4. I will write here 1 minus 4 upon 2, which is minus 3 upon 2. Okay, so in this scenario I am going to write here minus 3 upon 2 whole square plus 0 minus 3 is minus 3, minus 3 square is 9. So now I am going to calculate this one. 9 upon 4, 3 square minus plus, so 3 square is 9, 2 square is 4 plus 9. Now again I have to take the LCM, I have to multiply by 4 because LCM is 4. So in that scenario, this is 9 upon 4 plus 36 upon 4. 36 plus 9 is 45 upon 4. If we calculate this value, then we'll get it 3.35. okay, and if you wanted to write or express in terms of rational number, in square root, then what we can write here, 9 into 5 is 45. You can take the square root of 9 is 3, so we can write 3 root 5 upon 2 square root of 4, but in decimal we have to write, so 3.35, or you can write here 3.4. Either of the answer is correct. So this is all about the question number 6. In the next session we may cover other topics and few more questions on the other topics. In case of any doubt related to any year, you can share with me. Probably I will try to make the videos on that as well. Thank you so much.